Yo guys, Gio here. I'm with Ollie. This is our new channel, Go 90. I'm here with Uncle Wrighty as well, as you can see.
So we got Big Wrighty for the first video. We're fortunate enough to have Unks here to help us out here, sort us out on this one. So yeah, we're getting ready to crack on. We're just going to be asking him some questions, just some things you might not see in your regular podcasts or videos. We're here to show a bit more of a different perspective. Thanks for being here today, man. How are you feeling today?
I feel good, man. Yeah, I'm really pleased because finally you lot getting it together. Yeah. I said, listen, get your stuff together. Let me know what you're doing. You look like you've done a lot of work, preparation stuff. So
of course.
That's how we're doing. So here we are, man. I'm pleased for you guys.
I appreciate that big time. Yeah. So let's get it cracking, man. I want a bit of an introductory question to open things up. So when you look back at everything you've achieved on the pitch as a player, and then off the pitch as a pundit, and a warm personality that you're known as around here, what do you think shaped you most to become the man you are today, and for everyone to see you as the Uncle Wrighty and to show all this love to you?
You know, sorry, it's a long question, bro. But like the thing of it is you say what? It's just the realness to myself because you know I know how tough the journey was right from the start. You know, I went through many years. You know, from the age of 10 to 22, I finally got in where I didn't think it was going to happen. You know, I wasn't going to, excuse me, become a footballer. So the humbleness you learn through that time, you know, the rejection, you know, you're trying to find work, and then you got kids, and then, you know, you learn through the life that, you know what I mean, you have to be humble with what you're doing and be grateful for anything that you can do and recognize your opportunity when it comes. So once it did come, you know, you start playing and you start getting a little bit of success in that. What I learned very early is that the journey was so tough that I can't start being like, whoa, look at me, man, I'm this, I could do this, I could buy this car, I just have to be humble for the people that's coming, my people who are looking at me and expecting me to be kind of like a role model. Yeah. And you know what I mean? I'm quite pleased that I've done it. I made some mistakes when I was playing. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, of course. But at the same time, you know what I mean? Being humble, being amongst my people, and letting them know that I'm the same guy is kind of what got me to where I am now, where people are calling me uncle. Because remember, that's a term of endearment. Yeah. If people are calling you uncle, that means that's a lot of respect. So I'm kind of pleased about that because they could easily, you know, if they're calling you Uncle Tom, you know you've gone the wrong way. Yeah, of course. So far from that. For sure. So again, it's a good question to start. But the fact is that I would always say, you know, the humbleness. Just stay humble with what you're doing and try and strive to get to where you want to be. And that's what I've done. That's what I've tried to do.
Yeah, we've seen it in the community now. Everyone's showing love to you. We show love to you for how you've been with us down the years. That's always been like that. You've always been showing us love. So yeah.
Respect, bro.
Which defenders? Be honest though, will you slide?
Why would I be honest?
Because you might try to give it the best striker in the world. I'm saying which defenders were you slightly scared of when it came to games? Like, was that had you, like, be honest, in their pocket?
Yeah, but you're saying about scared, but there's fear, and there's like nervousness, right? Now, fear is when you're playing against defenders back in the day where they could just clean you out.
Break your legs.
They could break your legs. So it's not a case, in that respect, you knew how to navigate that because you know that the defenders are going to get one clean tackle on you. Then the referee will say to him, "Listen, that's your chance." Okay. The things I weren't afraid of them, but people like Des Walker, you know what I mean, playing against this people like Des Walker, like even Paul Parker. You know, if we're going to go international, Cannavaro, you know, Ciro Ferraro.
I was with Cannavaro in particular.
No, that was like being in a closet. Yeah, that was like being locked up. You know what I mean? Even trying to get a touch to link to play. Yeah. In Des Walker, Paul Parker, all those top defenders, Gary Palace, Stephen Bruce, all those guys. Yes, it's very difficult. So it's not a case of fear. It's not nervousness. It's a case of I'm coming up against a defender that's quick. He's intelligent. He knows before the ball gets to me. He knows what the midfielder's going to do. So he knows the midfielder's head isn't even up. So you're trying to make this move on me. Yeah. I'm looking at him. You can't move now. So when you're playing against a defender who's quick as you, who's as intelligent as a defender, and he's not giving you a kick, you have to find a way. So with me, I made sure that what I did, you know, I worked hard on my touch, so hard on the first touch and linking play.
Your first touch was tough as well.
You know something? Because I worked hard on it. Yeah. But the thing with it is that I realised that I have to get myself in a situation where I have to put fear into them. And the reason why you could do that and put fear into them was take half chances. I wanted to make sure, this is where I was, you have to take half chances. Yeah. Right? Because then what happens is that defender knows that he's going to have to be at the very top of his game for the whole 90 minutes. And I've done it to a few of them, scoring in the last minute after not having a touch. Yeah. They got to know that for 90 minutes, they're going to have to be on their toes. And that is where you're trying to find a mistake because they're so tense and so worried about you scoring that goal if you get half a chance. That's your that's in your favour. You know what I mean? So that's what I used to try and do. Give them fear back by knowing I'm taking half chances. So I worked on make sure I finish anything.
Cool. So I've got one for you as well. So starting off, we know about your Arsenal legendary striker. Is there a goal that you scored that's always in your mind that you think, wow, what a goal I scored, but maybe it's not talked enough or not spoken enough now because maybe it was back then, but is there one goal that you're like, wow, this is the goal like that summed me up, or what a goal that I scored?
You know what? Obviously I scored a nice goal against Everton where I flicked it over the defender and with the goalkeeper. It's a nice goal, but the goal that I love, which people that kind of like just skate over, is the goal against Newcastle. And I remember it was the right back, his name was Warren Barton, and he tried to play up the line and he got cut out. And so Nigel Winterburn went through and then he pushed one across the box. And I knew that the defender and the goalkeeper, you know, just because of the amount of time to do it in training, that they're going to both go down. So I think the goalkeeper thought I was going to slide it under him, and the defender thought that I was going to slide it, so they both slid in. And I just put my foot under it, and it just... that goal, that's my favourite goal, because in the moment, the calmness of the situation for me, because I've been in the situation so many times in training, and I wasn't afraid to try things, is what I love about that. Because I totally took the souls away from them too, because they both were desperate. They're in the box. They have to make a last-ditch challenge. But I know that in that moment I'm very calm. So if the ball's coming at such good pace, once I put my foot under it like that, it's just going to pop over them. That's the goal. That's the goal for me. I used to kick it into the ground like that.
Did that from early.
So we know you came in late to the game. Was there a time that you felt like you kind of fell out of love with the game?
No. There was
things weren't going too well.
What do you mean? When I was younger, when I was trying to get in?
No, once you were in, like, did you?
No, bro.
It was always just straight love with the whole time.
Yeah, because like and that's the thing. What kept me going? It's just football kept me going. When I was trying to get jobs, I had Sean. Bradley just came. So you know, the football was the thing that I had. What kept me going, because everything else was about feeding and making sure that you're providing. So once I got into the game, bro, remember it took me so long to get in.
How old were you when you actually got in?
22.
22,
next birthday is my 22nd birthday. When I went to Brighton on trial when I was 19, that's when I thought, you know something, I can't be good enough. I can't be, because I scored goals on trial at Brighton. I was finding money from friends and everybody to get down to Brighton and back. And I've done everything that they say, showing you know, determination to get there, showing good attitude, and they still let me go. So I thought, well, that's probably, I'm going to make it. If I can't do it doing that, then it's not going to happen. So I kind of like just I said to myself, right, that's it, I'm just going to work. I'm going to work hard and just play football. But what was happening on a Sunday, I stopped playing on a Saturday because I just wanted to rest. But what was happening, I was scoring 4 goals a game and stuff, 3 goals a game. Sometimes I wouldn't even try to score. I tried to hit the post, you know, just because I was scoring goals so easy, thinking, because I'm playing against people who's putting out cigarettes before I start playing, right? So then I'm thinking I'm not doing anything, but then I'm playing against semi-pro players who are playing at a good level, and I'm doing the same thing. And then we start playing semi-finals against them. I beat them. When we played a team, I scored 2 in the semi-final, scored 3 in the final for the Merry Wiltshire Shield. And that's when they told me that Palace was watching me. But the thing is, the question was, I kind of digressed a bit, but the question was, you fall out of love? Never, once I got in, because I couldn't believe I was in. So you got to understand that once you get in, right, then
it's a different ball.
It's like everything I'm working on is for me. So it's like money in the bank. So if I'm working on finishing everything, and so you know what I mean. I just from that day on, it was just like it was amazing. It was amazing.
I respect that. So I got one. It's a bit like I'm not sure if it's been out there, but
go on.
What's one player that you did not get on with, or you did not like or hated? I could say during your career that maybe you clashed with regularly in fixtures that you weren't particularly a fan of, or they weren't a fan of.
You know what? While he was playing, as people could see now, is my man Roy Keane. While he was playing, you know what I mean, the captain of Man United, the great. I think the greatest captain in the Premier League history. What he's done.
JT's probably got a shot.
You could say JT, but like I'll probably.
He's a Chelsea fan, isn't he? You know.
But like I'll probably go with Roy Keane. When Roy Keane played, you know, Roy Keane, he was the ultimate captain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was somebody that wanted to win all the time. We always clashed on there.
You see, he hated Vieira as well, just hated any of the big dogs
anybody
that he's
because
facing.
he's a winner. He's a winner, and I respected him for that. For me personally, You know what I mean? So while you're playing, all that Man United team, you didn't like them because they were so good.
Yeah.
So you're jealous
of
of
the main
them.
rivals,
Really.
Arsenal,
exactly. So you envy them.
Yeah.
Obviously, I had a little clash with Peter Schmeichel.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So you know, but now again, you know, time passes. I speak to Peter Schmeichel. It's no problem because while you're playing and you're playing at the levels like you got Man United and Arsenal, especially when we started to challenge them. You know what I mean? Of course, there's going to be rivalries and there's going to be hatred between you. But now, you know what I mean? You're able to look back at it and you smile about it. But it was at the time. If we're playing Man United like next week, like we're playing this week, we beat this. You know, all week you're ready. You're building yourself up because it meant so much. So, you know, the hatred was only in the rivalry. It wasn't for the actual person.
We see that now with your dynamic with Roy Keane and like the overlap. It's so like everyone does it. You're loving your dynamic with you and Keane. He's always so serious and you're dropping your banter and he's there like rolling his eyes.
Bro,
when you love that dynamic though.
When you're at war, you know that's the thing. When you're at war, you have to fight.
No, I respect that.
Even when I play football against these lot,
What are you
I
talking
hate
about?
them on the pitch completely.
You have to, Especially because you know Ollie's a better finisher.
Oh my God.
So you know what I mean? Because you're a better finisher in that size. So that's why. G, what you got?
All right. What did you hate about being a footballer? Whether that's waking up early, training non-stop. Like, there had to be one thing. Like, come on.
No, bro.
You loved everything.
What is there not to
Cold
love?
showers.
You're giving out the PR answers.
Yeah, but
this
see,
one, no PR on this one. This is straight for the streets.
No. I'm giving you you know what? I'm actually because I go back so far. I'm actually giving you the pureness. Right, there is nothing in the professional game. If you are trying to strive to achieve something that you can dislike about it,
even say fans when the fans.
Well, the thing about it is, if you're going to ask about like the off-field stuff, you know, whether it's the fans with racism, you know, when you go, you know, whatever it can be, you know what I mean. The FA continually fining you for just being. You know, of course, those things are frustrating, but in respect to the football and preparation, everything about playing football and playing at Palace and then Arsenal especially. Was like it was golden, you know. All that stuff that came with it is part of the media. What the media want to kind of portray you as, and that's why, obviously, in the end, you know what I mean. I knew that like, they had an agenda against me. As to why, you know what I mean. I had to like what's it called? I had to sue them, you know, for the hacking. You know what I mean? Because they were following me. So I know that they were trying to keep the pressure on me. But like that was off the field. I don't know how I'd get on if I played football in this era, the social media era. I'd probably struggle. But like back then, I knew that things weren't right. I remember Gaza used to talk about it. You know, people are following him, this and that. I didn't even realise until like a couple of years ago. I realised they were doing the same to me. So the fact is that off the pitch, in respect of that, it was a nightmare. But then the solace came from actually playing. That's where you felt free when you're on the pitch.
Yeah, I was going to also follow up on that because we touched up about how I was back then. And because it was a bit rough, it was a different time back then. Did you feel, for yourself, any sort of racism, or was there any incidents back then where, you know what I mean?
There was racism, especially when you started at Palace. You know what I mean? Because when you started at Palace, it was in the Championship. You know, you go up north and then people were really, you know what I mean? They were harsh on the brother. You know what I mean? Saying that, you know what I mean? I come and play at Millwall. You know, Millwall club. You know what I mean? A club that I grew up watching. You know, I went to Millwall from the age of 9 to 13.
Yeah, we know the fans.
So I knew about them. I knew about the fans. So it was really strange because, you know what I mean? When I played there, I knew that they were doing what they were doing, but I've stood in there with those people. I know that, you know what I mean? It was something that I couldn't understand because you know me, I'm from your ends and everything, and I know that you lot are just trying to intimidate. It's easier. It actually made me understand, but that's not real because I know you lot. I've seen you lot. I used to be at Millwall, and you know sometimes it would get really cramped in there. Me and my mate Patrick Dyer, Patrick Dyer's his name is, and then Henry Deville and all that. When it got packed. You know the bars that you could stand on? You know the bars where you lean on? They used to have those bars. So we'd stand on the bar and you'd hold the neck and they would hold your foot so as then you wouldn't fall. So then same men are meant to be like racially abusing you, are making sure you don't get crushed. So that was easy for me to realise they're just doing what they're doing because they're in their tribe and they're doing their thing. But at the time, you know what I mean? Of course there was a lot of racial, there's a massive amount of racial elements about going up north or down south, you know what I mean? But like it was something that it was you dealt with.
Do you reckon it's harder to make it now or before? Because I've had a few debates with my boys. They think it's harder now, but I don't know, maybe before because...
Why would you say it's harder before?
I think it's harder now.
I think that it's quite tough now
because people are better now than they were.
No, but the social media puts everyone out there. Before it was kind of you rely more on word of mouth. There's a scouts.
Yeah, but what do you mean? What do you mean the players are better now than they were then?
They got better training, they got better facilities.
They got better
but that means there's more better players and it's less likely you are to get there because there's better facilities that only the top class are getting there. You see what I mean?
You know, the thing about it is that obviously the facilities and everything are much better now. But like, again, it's tough, bro. It's tough then, it's tough now. You look at my entrance into the game, my path, I should say, into the game was, you know, people talk about, like, I was 22 my next birthday. You know what I mean? You know, from the age of 10 trying to get in. I'm not sure if that's still something that can happen now because there's so many players coming out of academies, then they go to that next level when they've come out the academy. If they don't make it, then they fall down into where the next tier down or whatever it is. So you've got all these good players congregating in places where you can be picked up. You can be, you can be picked up. I'm not sure what's happening now because like everybody's coming through academy. So if you, so let's say you get, so then if you get left out of academy, then where do you go in respects of like, I'm going for a trial with Stevenage. You know what I mean? So there's always somewhere for that person who was in the system to go to, whereas I wasn't in the system at all. So to be found off of the park, I don't think that happens again.
That doesn't happen anymore, for sure.
That's probably why I didn't make it then, because
nothing about your
No, it wasn't, because when I sorted him out, I got him in trial at Palace. He what's it called? I got him a nice trial at Palace playing the centre. And he froze.
Serious, man.
Froze, and now I got to listen to him.
For it, and now he talks about his best, the best this and the best that. We play five-a-side.
Thank you, you know what I mean? Yeah, but the thing about it is, what you'll realise as time goes by, because obviously both of you are good players, but what you realise as time goes by is that was an opportunity. You know what I mean? It might have come.
I fumbled.
Yeah, but no, it's not even a case of fumble.
You weren't really that good enough to
No, the thing about it is that you're mentally at that time. I thought technically, and I'm not even joking now, no joke, you were more than good enough. You were more than good enough, good physical size and everything. It was always going to be about how you approach that.
Yeah, mental.
How you're going to approach that. Because when you go into that arena, what I found instantly was, you can't give the ball away. You can't do things in certain situations that they think, no, he's not, he can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, so when an opportunity, what I always say to people is, you have to recognise when your opportunity comes. Sometimes it comes early for people. For me, it came late. If it came for me like it came for you, where all of a sudden you know somebody is able to get in there, get a trial, people say, well, maybe it came too easy for him. That's what people will say. So you're thinking, this is it. But then when you're going through and you're struggling, like I said, then it comes, you recognise this is my way out.
Yeah.
That's the difference. So don't knock yourself with that. Don't knock yourself with that.
It
was a long time. But the main thing is that stop telling me you're better than Ollie. I was a finisher.
You hear that from the man himself. So, as a former striker, Gyökeres, tough time, lots of stick, goal droughts. As an ex-elite striker like yourself, how do you handle those moments mentally when you're going through a goal drought and you've got fans in your back saying, oh, what's he doing? Like, why is he not scoring? Like, do you have those where you're going through little goal droughts or shit weren't exactly working out the way you wanted it to? And you're like, oh shit, how do I get through this? How do I
No. You know something, what you learn and what you'll hear all strikers say when you listen to punditry is, and it's true, you've got to do the things that got you goals. You've got to go into the areas that get you goals. You've got to make sure that you're still going to the near post. You're still trying to hit the target. You're still linking up plays, still getting in the box. The thing with when you're a striker, like when I went to Arsenal, you know what I mean? I was very fortunate because when I went there, they were saying, why we signed him? We don't need him. We've got Campbell, we've got Merson, we've got Smith, we've got Limpar, we've got people scoring. So when you listen to people saying that, depending on the individual, then you either say, oh my gosh, they don't even want me. Oh God, I'm nervous. Yeah. And I remember watching the news, 6 o'clock news at some of the time, and it was just flashed up because I just signed for Arsenal. Then they went out on the street and they were talking to people. They said, I don't know why we bought another striker. Do we need one? And you hear that and you think, bro, they don't even want me and I haven't even kicked a ball yet. So, you know what I mean? So you can imagine what it's like for any striker, not just Gyökeres, but Sesko and anyone, Isak, everybody. You're nervous in those early moments. So if it doesn't start well for you, then people are then straight on you to try and say, well, he's not good enough, he's got this. Fact is, I was fortunate enough that I scored in my first game and I scored in my second game. So that kind of alleviates the pressure. But then when you're coming like the players now, with the amount of monies that the players can cost now, that people are expecting them to hit the ground straight off the bat. And it's very, very difficult. But what you got to do is, you got to do the things, like for me, I just think about, Like, I used to watch a lot of my videos when I was scoring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I can do.
Yeah,
You're watching. I remember I used to say to Sean as well. Sean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you're feeling like, feeling a little bit lack of confidence,
Yeah.
watch one of your videos where you're going past people, where you're scoring goals, where you're laying in passes, where you're doing good stuff. And that's what I do. That's what I would say to anybody.
Yeah.
If you're struggling like that. But like, it's a different time now because the strikers cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And people want instant
And
return.
don't forget the social media now. People
Social
putting
media
memes online
killing,
on Twitter, laughing at you, bannering, getting thousands of retweets and likes, and the player's probably looking at that and seeing that and thinking.
But the thing about it is, people don't realise. What people don't realise is that the player might not be able to see, but like somewhere along the line, someone will show. I remember when I was playing and things weren't going right for me, especially like off the pitch. People think that them telling you, yeah, man, I just read this thing about you, man, and they're saying this. You think I don't want to know.
Yeah.
If I wanted to know, I'd look myself. So those are the things what I would say to them, man. Focus on what you're doing in training and finishing. And then it will come. It will all come.
Fair. You enjoy seeing how the game, especially this season, how it's become with the over-reliance on set pieces. And I'm not even going to Arsenal directly. I'm just saying in general, bro.
I saw yesterday. He does not like these.
Listen.
Go on.
Listen, the over-reliance on set pieces and less free-flowing football. I'm not saying this directly to you lot, but I'm just saying in general. No, I'm just saying in general this season, bro.
Can I be honest, bro? You know what's pathetic about people going on about the set pieces, and even we've seen Man City. Man City done really well with their set pieces, but the fact is, set pieces. See, a couple of years ago,
but they were always still free flowing.
Yeah, but at the same time, set pieces and that, it's laughable because set pieces and being able to do set pieces is part of the game.
Do you think? Jealous.
So tell me something. Let me tell you something. So would you say 1999, David Beckham? After Man United got hammered in that Champions League final, David Beckham put 2 corners in the exact same place so as they can score. So you're saying should we give Man United stick for being able to have a player that's practiced nearly all his life about putting the ball in the right area? Declan Rice when he's putting the ball in, Saka when they put. Do you think that's easy? People are using as much as they can in respects of the margins that it's costing to try and win games now. That set pieces have become a big part of the game. It might not have been a big part of the game years ago, but when you've now got players who are capable of putting the ball into areas where somebody else could take advantage, like Gabriel Magalhaes for Arsenal, then you're going to do it because it's a way of scoring a goal.
It's like a cheat code. You've got Declan Rice and Saka that can put it right on the spot there, and then you've got Gabriel the tank that can just jump and head there every day.
But then what we've got to put is the skill element. Remember, Gabriel Magalhaes has got to lose a man. Declan Rice or Saka have got to put it right.
That's a set piece coach as well. He's done bits there.
Yeah, he's done bits in that. But what I'm saying is that people underestimate the amount of work that goes into trying to get these set pieces right. So this is why
just more because this season the long throws have been coming into effect. That's not Arsenal. I'm just saying in general. Other teams are reverting to that. In general, they're relying more on those margins rather than the straight balls.
What I'm trying to tell you is it means so much to win games, and win points, and be in this league that you will take
so hard that you take any margin to get it done.
It's like I was in there yesterday, and this guy was—I can't remember the guy was sitting next to him.
I know, I can tell that.
I just stop talking to me. You're talking foolishness.
Alright, going off that, just a small one about Chelsea. What do you think of? Because obviously you know me, big Chelsea.
Yeah.
What do you make of Chelsea? Because obviously there's a lot of talk about we've got a young squad. We're trying to build a different way compared to how other teams with success would do it. What do you think of? What do you make of our kind of approach of things?
I think it's very brave because Chelsea are doing different things. Obviously with the long contracts, the managers that come so frequently. Now you've got a young manager who's come from Strasbourg.
What do you think of Rosen?
I think it's a great appointment because it's a brave appointment for a young player to go in, for a young coach to go into a club like Chelsea. And we know how frequently they can move a manager on and start as well as he has. I'm very, very pleased for him. I'm very pleased the fact that Chelsea are brave enough to say, we're going to do it. We're going to give it to that guy. We're going to give it to him. So you've got a young squad. Obviously, people constantly still talking about, a couple more experienced players in Chelsea, but they're not a million miles away. So, with this coach, he knows what he's doing. People could say what they want. They could talk about him however they want to talk about him. I don't care. This guy has got what it takes to be a good coach. And he's got young players who seem like they like him. Okay. And so if that can kick on, if he could carry on doing that, then Chelsea will start to get involved in the situations that they want to be in.
Let's see, but I feel like it's the manager, we can see, but maybe it's more the way the board is, but that's a different discussion.
Well, it's a whole different discussion.
That's a whole different
discussion. Because remember, when it's going well on the pitch, people ignore what's going upstairs.
It's true, it's true. Yeah, so I've got one more. More for us, more relatable, because obviously we've known you for so long, you've known our pups, we know our culture, you've been around plenty of Albanians. You've even
Shibaria Diffatoy.
my guy, yeah. You've been to even pubs with us. We've gone to Albanian pubs. We're wearing Albanian gear to support Albania.
Yes.
What do you think of our culture? What have you learned about it? Because you're loved out there. Albanians know about you now because they know how much love you've shown to our culture.
I love Albania, and even when I'm on television, I always mention them.
Always big us up. Right? Yeah, my guy.
Simply because you know something like African people, bro, they absolutely live for football. They love football. Very friendly people, very hospitable people. You know what I mean? Always welcome you in. Like obviously Bardi, I met him like your dad. Was it like 25 years now?
Long time.
You know what I mean? And right from the start, yes, bro. So we're talking about someone that's just like as a friend. He's just welcomed me into the Albanian culture, and I only get love from it.
Yeah.
I only get love from it.
Do you get Albanians that might see you and be
all
like,
the time, bro.
All the time.
Simply because of my friendship with your dad, and everything what we've been through. So now people see that I'm a supporter.
Yeah.
You know, I was even with my guy Shaqiri.
Yeah.
I was in Switzerland. He was talking about, bro, thanks for your love for Albania. Even though he's like Switzerland. But the thing is, you know what I love, and I kind of digress a little bit, is the passion that the Albanians have.
Sure, yeah, you see it.
Passion that Albanians have for football, for everything. You know, even when we play 5-a-side,
man still play it down to this day.
And that's the love I have. That's why obviously I'll always love the Albanians, bro. Love them.
Guys, it's been us, been Go 90. Appreciate that, Wrighty, for joining us in today's video. We've got more coming up, so stay tuned.
Love, guys, first video, we got much more to come. This is the first insight with our aunt, Wrighty.
Nice.
And we got more to come. Let us know what you lot like fancy to hear or what you want to see, and we'll see what we do. Love, guys. Go 90 out.
Peace.
Yeah, whoa, yeah, rage, yeah.